On the 107th episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast, we're going to be talking about the MLB Midsummer Classic and some drama that's going on with that. We're going to be ranking the top 5 longest losing streaks in MLB history and end it off with some Hall of Fame. Yay or nay? Make sure you use code HatTrick Sports. We'll check you out at w.gg for 10% off your order. Roll it! Welcome to HatTrick Sports, starring your host, Isaiah Carpenter. Bringing you the biggest sports headlines every week. This is the HatTrick Sports Podcast. All right, let's get into it. We have the MLB news. This is going to strictly be an MLB podcast for this week because nothing else has taken place. I mean, we have some golf up here. We could talk about the NBA Summer League. Nothing exciting, though. Nothing really exciting. Besides, we did have some signings. Whatever. We'll talk about that later then. But yeah, let's start it off with some MLB drama. I feel like the MLB doesn't have a lot of drama. Usually that's in other sports. Usually the MLB's well-behaved. But yes, this All-Star game, tobacco, whatever you want to call it. Let's start it off with... where do we want to start with? So basically, what happened is that the MLB decided that Jacob Misiorowski, who is a great pitcher but has only pitched about, 25 innings, is going to be an all-star over Ranger Suarez and Christopher Sanchez. Now, there's a lot to kind of go in here if we really think about it. So, Jacob Misiorowski has played 5 games at the time of this recording, unless he's pitching. I think he might be pitching today. But he's pitched 5 games, 25 innings, and he throws straight gas. Like, I believe out of the 5 starts, he has thrown 89 pitches over 100 miles an hour, which was wicked fast. It was just unbelievably wild. But, again, the thing is, he hasn't been pitching for that long. So the MLB named him an all-star over Christopher Sanchez. Now, they offered Ranger Suarez the all-star, but they said you can only be an all-star if you pitch. And Ranger Suarez was saying no because of his pitching schedule, and he didn't want to get hurt. He said he didn't want to pitch, but he would be happy to be named an all-star because this goes on a lot in the NFL. Like, you could be a Pro Bowler, but not play in the Pro Bowl, in the flag football game that they do now. But Ranger Suarez was like, yeah, I can't pitch. I'm not going to pitch, but I would still like to be named. I would still like to be named an all-star. And the MLB was like, no, you're not going to be an all-star if you don't pitch for the game. It was like, wow, like come on, MLB. You can do better than that. So he was technically asked to it, so I'm not fully blaming the MLB for not choosing Ranger Suarez because they did give him the opportunity. But Christopher Sanchez, I would argue, could potentially be better than Ranger Suarez. I have all of their stats up here right now. And Christopher Sanchez leads in wins above replacement, games started, innings pitched, strikeouts, and walk percentage, which is actually tied for lowest out of the 3 guys. I'm going to take a screenshot of that to use for later. Here we go. Bam. Ranger Suarez, out of the 3, leads in ERA plus, and is tied with Christopher Sanchez in walk percentage. And then Misiorowski has the best record, strikeout percentage, and least amount of walks out of the 3 guys. So the stats are pretty divided up. But again, Misiorowski's only pitched 5 games. Now, the 3 or 4 of those games, I have his game logs up here. Where were they? Up here. His first game that he played was June 12th against the Cardinals. He pitched 5 innings, 0 hits, 0 runs, 0 earned runs, 5 strikeouts. Unbelievable. He no-hit for 5 innings against the Cardinals in his debut, or for the debut for the season, his season debut. And then a week later, on June 20th, he played against the Twins, he pitched 6 innings, giving up 1 hit, 2 earned runs, so that bumped up his ERA to 1.64. And then he pitched against the Pirates, 5 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, dropped his ERA back down to 1.13, and then July 2nd, he pitched against the Mets. He got the loss. Now, up until then, he had only wins, so he got the loss. It was not a good game. He pitched 3.2 innings, 5 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 home runs against him. That was not good, and then, again, a week later, he pitched against the Dodgers. The Dodgers were in the middle of that, losing streak, but he shoved against the Dodgers. He pitched 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, which was a home run by Freeman or Outman or somebody like that. So yes, he has had, with the exception of the game against the Mets, he has had an incredible season so far. But should there be a limit, or I guess a minimum amount of innings pitched to be named an all-star? And the Phillies are mad about it because they had quite a few snubs. I mean, Trey Turner was probably the biggest snub out of all of that. I have some interviews from them. Here we go. Trey Turner said, "What a joke." He said, "That's effing terrible." I mean, that's terrible, dude. That sounds like, I have been following Trey Turner since he was with the Nationals and then was with the Dodgers and now Phillies. I've never seen the dude mad. I didn't know Trey Turner could get mad, but in this interview, he was definitely mad when he was talking to The Athletic. Nick Castellanos says it's turning into the Savannah Bananas, which, if you guys don't know, is basically like a baseball circus. But we could talk more about that. That Savannah Bananas business model, absolutely wild, and it's working. We could talk about that later, though. The Phillies pointed to left-handers Ranger Suarez and Christopher Sanchez as examples of a more deserving all-star replacement than Mizorowski. That's just how MLB does it now, catcher JT Realmuto told The Athletic. Nothing against Mizorowski, kid, but Suarez and Sanchez are deserving of being on the team in the first place. There's no doubt. Mizorowski, I went over his stats. He has a 2.83 ERA right now. Striking out 33 over 25 and 2/3 innings. Major League Baseball is really just focusing on the most marketable players, Castellanos told The Athletic, which is very, very important right now in this whole broad scheme of things. Because I'm going to go back to Dave Roberts. What the MLB is trying to do is make the Midsummer Classic relevant. And over the last, I don't mind the All-Star game, and I don't mind the Home Run Derby. But, like, you have the Futures game, which is not very watched that much. And then you have the Celebrity Softball game, which nobody really watches. And the Draft. All 5 of those basically take place over this weekend. The weekend right now, as I'm recording. And so the MLB is trying to market this more. And so they're trying to get the players that are marketable. Mizorowski, again, like I said 5 minutes ago, 89 pitches over his last 5 starts, over 100 miles an hour. Unbelievable. The dude's good. I love him. I love watching him. I think he's going to be a great player in the MLB. I just think that it's a little early to name an all-star when you have guys that are more deserving. What other stuff do I have? I had something on Dave Roberts. Roberts, here we go. Dave Roberts is the manager of the NL, which Mizorowski will pitch for, hopefully. Hopefully pitch for it. Will at least have the opportunity to pitch. But Dave Roberts doesn't decide who's playing over who. And not who's playing, who's making the roster. So Dave Roberts came out and said... Roberts made it clear that he had no voice in selecting Mizorowski, but sees the moves as a positive given the entertainment value of the Midsummer Classic. The All-Star game is about the fans, Roberts says. Yes, the kid hasn't pitched a whole lot in the big leagues, but I do think it sparks some more excitement seeing the velocity. Now, it's important to understand that Mizorowski stomped on the Dodgers. And Dave Roberts is the manager of the Dodgers, so maybe he's just kind of say that to make that loss look a little bit worse. The 23-year-old who is 4-1, I said the things, threw a 100.5-mile-an-hour fastball for his first pitch in the big leagues. The dude's legit. I think the dude might get injured. I mean, I just don't understand how somebody could throw that hard that often. But Brewers manager Pat Murphy said that he understood the backlash from around the league, but sees it as giving fans what they want. People want to see Miz pitch, Murphy said. He's the new shiny toy in the league. It's not deserving. That has nothing to do with it. He's been given this opportunity. It's not his fault, which is completely valid. This wasn't a fly-by-night decision. This is something they thought through. I think it would be really tough for the kid to say no to that. No, Mizorowski, I am not putting this on Mizorowski. This is not on Mizorowski. This is on MLB. Again, Trey Turner got snubbed. Suarez, you gave the chance to, but he's going to value his team more than this expedition game. And you're still not going to name him an all-star. And then Christopher Sanchez is more deserving. Like, I brought up the stats. Let me look up the stats. Who has a lower ERA? So, yeah, Sanchez even has a lower ERA, pitching more with a higher wins above replacement. He has a lower ERA, a higher ERA plus, more strikeouts, a lower strikeout percentage. But again, that's just one stat. Lower walk percentage, more walks, but obviously that doesn't compare to the innings pitched. But it's like Christopher Sanchez should have easily made it over Mizorowski. And I'm a Mizorowski fan. I like watching him. I've watched the last few starts from him, but I just don't think that's really fair. More on the Midsummer Classic. Paul Skeens and Tariq Skubal are named the All-Star Game starters. So Dave Roberts is going to have Paul Skeens on the bump, and then Aaron Boone, Tariq Skubal. It's going to be a good game. I like this because you get to kind of know the players a little bit more. And say with the home run derby, you can kind of do it more with the home run derby because the guys are there cheering around their teammates. But you got the on-field interviews. You got all sorts of stuff that the MLB makes it cool. It is going to be on Fox this year as opposed to ESPN, so I'm a little not concerned, but interested to see what Fox does to top ESPN, because I think ESPN does a great job with the All-Star Game and the home run derby and all that. Skeens is 4-8 this season, but I believe has a 2.01 ERA at the time of this recording. And the reason why he has 8 losses is because he gets 0 offensive support from the offense, from the Pirates. And it sucks because that's going to ruin his career if he stays with the Pirates. But yeah, just it can't happen. But he is still named the All-Star starter because he is still a great pitcher. He has 131 strikeouts over 121 innings. 1.49 ERA over his past 12 starts. I kind of want to see Shohei pitch. It's not going to happen, but I want to see Shohei pitch an inning. He's done great. The only reason why he's given up a run is because of a horrible check swing call. But yeah, I feel like maybe as a Dodgers fan, I kind of want that. That's out of order. But, yeah, the lineups. You have Acuna, Alonso, Carroll, PCA, Ellie De La Cruz, Donovan Freeman, Goodman, Lindor, Machado. I think the NL is going to win this. I'm confident that the NL is going to win this. I feel like they have a better lineup, a better roster than the AL this season. Now, over the last 15 years, yeah, you can make the argument that the AL's been better X amount of times over whatever. Doesn't matter. It's an all-star game. It doesn't matter. It's all for the fun of it. There are only 15 teams that really care about winning and losing, and that's the AL because they like to make it seem like they're so much better. Even though, if you run a real comparison, look at either the AL or NL, who's won the most World Series in the last 50 years. Just saying. I don't know the stats on that. I'm just saying. What else we got to talk about? Let's talk about the Home Run Derby. The Home Run Derby participants are locked in. Ronald Acuna Jr. was supposed to be batting, but apparently he has some back tightness or something like that. So Matt Olson is going to take his place. Again, not a big deal. His teammate, I'm sure he was happy to give that up. I'm sure Olson was happy to take it. But you have Byron Buxton. You have Junior Caminero. You have Jazz Chisholm Jr., O'Neal Cruz, James Wood, Brent Rooker, Cal Raleigh, and Matt Olson. I meant to have a comparison of all of these guys and their home runs. Stat head. And maybe I do that now, but how many guys can you have? You can have up to 6, and there's 8 guys. Whatever. James Wood, I think, is going to be first-round exit. James Wood, I understand he's a great guy. I just don't think that he's fit out for the Home Run Derby. How many home runs does he have this season? He has 24 home runs this season. I just feel like he's the loner in the group. He's very, very much underrated, but I feel like he's young and he won't connect to anybody. That's just my thing. I just don't think that he is going to do very well. Junior Caminero, I think that he's going to do pretty well. Buxton, I think. So, all right, let me do this. I think that Cal Raleigh will win. I don't know what the odds are. Let me look up the home run derby odds. Home run derby odds, because that is what I'm trying to say, but I'm not going to say that off the top of my head. All right. Byron Buxton to outright win is plus 750. James Wood to hit the longest home run is plus 5. Oh, no, that is not what I want, bruh. I should have had this up earlier. Here we go. Odds via DraftKings Sportsbook. Cal Raleigh is at plus 295. You bet $100, you win $295. O'Neal Cruz is in second at plus 325. James Wood plus 475. Matt Olson plus 800. Brent Rooker plus 850. Byron Buxton plus 950. Jazz Chisholm Jr. plus 1100. Junior Caminero plus 1200. I think that James Wood is going to be last, then Caminero, and then Buxton, then Chisholm. No, then Buxton, then Rooker, then Chisholm, then Olson, then Cruz. Actually, I'll put Olson over Cruz, then Raleigh. That's what I think. That's what I think the placement's going to be. Now, obviously, it's not really like that. You have guys just cut out at the same time. But I think that's what the odds should be. One more thing to talk about with the All-Star game, and I think I'm talking about it here in a minute. Oh, yeah, let's talk about the umpires. Let's talk about the umpires for the All-Star game. Again, not a whole lot happening in MLB, so it's going to be a quick podcast just talking about the Midsummer Classic. The MLB put Dan Lasagna, I don't know how to pronounce his actual last name, but as the crew chief who will be behind home plate in the All-Star game. His crew will include Marvin Hudson at first, Chris Siegel at second, Jansen Visconti at third, Jeremy Rehawk in left, and Eric Bacchus in right. They announced this Thursday, and my boy Jim Wolf got snubbed. Shout out Jim Wolf. Now, Lasagna, who is going to be behind the plate and the crew chief, is 56 years old. This is his second All-Star game. He did it in 2011. His first big league game was in 1999. He was hired in the Major League staff. Wait, what? Oh, appointed crew chief ahead of the 2020 season. Lasagna umpired the World Series in 2012, 2017, and 2022, along with 8 league championship series and 7 division series. The thing about this that is big with the umpires, and the only reason why I kind of brought the umpires into this, is because that they will be using the ABS system during the All-Star game, which is huge. It's going to be the same as spring training, where each team gets 2 failed attempts pretty much. And just a tap on the head, go up to the booth, beep, no beep, you can see it on the scoreboard. It's going to be fun, and I'm hoping Fox does well with it. That's my biggest concern with it, is that Fox isn't going to be as good as ESPN. They might be better, but I just doubt it. I love how ESPN did everything. But yeah, I'm excited to see this is good, because this means I'm hoping next season that they introduce ABS into the regular season. And then, again, ejections are going to go down. You're just going to have a lot less tension in the air, I feel like. Pitchers can pitch how they want to pitch. The downside is that the catching aspect isn't going to be as good, like frames and stuff like that. Like, that's just not going to be as appreciated. But you know what? Whatever. Let's talk about injuries. Hunter Dobbins, a right-hander for the Red Sox, said, he tore his Achilles. While while trying to cover first base in a game on Saturday night. And he said something that I was kind of confused about. So it came out that he tore his ACL. And he said that he knew his season was probably over when he felt a familiar sensation in his knee. I was like, what? Hunter Dobbins? What do you mean he felt a similar sensation in your knee. You've never torn your ACL, at least not that I remember. So I did a little bit of research. In his high school football, he played high school football. He tore his ACL and came back and was a better baseball player than he was a football player. And so that just shocked me. I never knew that. He tore his ACL playing football, and I guess he felt that similar sensation. And again, he's going to be out for the rest of the season. Torn ACL. He says, yeah, I've torn my ACL in this knee before, and it was the same feeling. It was the same knee that he tore his ACL. He said, kind of some denial went into it. Tried to go through that warm-up pitch. Felt the same sensation again. So at that point, I knew what it was. Dobbins tore his same ACL playing high school football. I didn't even read the whole article. I read it from something else. Covering first base in the second inning of Boston's 5-4 walk-off win over the Tampa Bay Rays on Friday night, 25-year-old Dobbins stepped awkwardly and limped. I'll show the video. I'll pop the video up here. Abraham Toro tossed him the ball and looked concerned. Dobbins took one warm-up toss before Alex Cora stops him from attempting any more, which is smart, and that is what a good manager does. Tough, Cora said before the Red Sox faced the Rays. He put himself on the map. Wright did a good job for us. When it happened, I thought something minor. Talking to him, he felt it right away. He's been through that before. But, that is unfortunate injury. His stats, he's doing pretty good. He is 4-1 this season with a 4.13 ERA. He's pitched in 13 games. Started 11 of them. He must have come in a little later in 2 of them. 61 innings pitched, 45 strikeouts, 1.28 whip. He's pitched in 13 MLB games and has already torn his ACL. Tough for the kid. All right, let's move on to ranking the... 1 second. Where is this? Where'd it go? No, we're not going to do that right now. We are going to... Where's the losing streaks? All right. So the Dodgers obviously had like a 7-game losing streak just last week. But that brings up the question, and that is what this topic is, this segment. We are going to be ranking the top 5 longest losing streaks in MLB history. So we're going to go... tied for 4th. There's a 4-team tied at 3rd. Yeah, we're going to do it. So there have been 23-game losing streaks, 21-game losing streaks, and 20-game losing streaks. And that 20-game losing streaks, you have the 1969 Montreal Expos, the 1943 Philadelphia Athletics, the 1916 Philadelphia Athletics, and the 1906 Boston Americans. So that is all a long time ago. The 20-game losing streaks. The 21-game losing streaks, you have the 2024 just last year. The White Sox, you have the 1988 Baltimore Orioles. Shout out 1988 and Kirk Gibson. And then the longest losing streak in MLB history at 23 games in 1961, the Philadelphia Phillies. So those are your top 5 longest losing streaks in MLB history. But I've been talking a lot about Cal Raleigh these last couple weeks, and I saw this thing. I thought I'll talk about it. MLB players with the most home runs before the All-Star break. Now, we are watching right here. Actually, JP Crawford is up right now. I believe Raleigh is the number 2 or number 3 guy, so we might actually get to watch him hit another home run. But Barry Bonds, who took steroids, had 39 home runs before the All-Star game in 2001. Cal Raleigh, again, not taking steroids, has 38 at the time of this recording, might be 39, and that was obviously this year. Chris Davis with 37 in 2013, Mark McGwire 37 in 1998, Reggie Jackson in 37 in 1969. So you get the point. Cal Raleigh's doing something not many people have ever done. People will go the entire season. People will go 2 seasons without 38 home runs, and we are right before the All-Star break, and he has 38. The dude is unreal. The big dumper is unreal. So, yes, I believe that is going to do it. That is going to... Actually, we're gonna watch Cal Raleigh live. We got to watch Cal Raleigh live. Who do I want to win the World Series? Obviously, I want the Dodgers to win the World Series. I wear the World Series hat. Oh, yeah, and Angie said that exactly after. I don't know. So shout out to you guys on the TikTok Live. Rodriguez, when is Cal Raleigh batting? Because I would love to watch Cal Raleigh hit a home run during the podcast. Let's look it up. I thought he was usually 2 or 3. Let's take a look at this. Julio Rodriguez. Oh, Julio Rodriguez foul, but that was crushed. So, yeah, Raleigh is on deck. We have 2 outs in the top of the 5th inning. I know you guys on TikTok might not be able to see it, but, yeah, I'm going to call it. I think that Cal Raleigh will hit a home run here live on the podcast if Julio Rodriguez doesn't get out. If he does get out, then we cut the podcast. That's how it goes. That is how we are going to end it off. Watching the Mariners-Tigers game. Tonight, you have the Padres and Phillies. You have Sanchez and Suarez. Is that the pitching matchup? But, yeah, going to be exciting. The Dodgers. So let's go over MLB standings. We could go over MLB standings as well. We haven't done that this week. So MLB standings at the time of this recording at 3 o'clock on July 13th. In the AL East, you have the Blue Jays 2 games ahead of the Yankees. The Red Sox 2 games behind that. Then you have the Rays and Orioles. The Rays were on top. They kind of fell through a little bit. The Orioles absolutely suck. In the AL Central, you have the Tigers, Twins, Royals, Guardians, and I think that's it. I think that is it in the AL Central. But no, the Tigers are 11.5 games in front. So Jack Flaherty really isn't pitching for much right now. They are way ahead in their division. They are going for their 60th win right now, which I believe would be the first team to hit 60 wins. Now, if the Dodgers didn't go on that 7-game losing streak, they probably would have got that 60 wins, but you never know. In the AL West, you have the Astros-Mariners. The Mariners 6 games behind the Astros. The Astros just they actually won an extra innings last night against the Rangers. They are 9.5 games behind the Astros right now. And then the Athletics, 17 games behind that. And the NL. Come on, Rodriguez. You got full count, 2 outs, guy on second. We just want to see Raleigh up. In the NL, you have the Mets, a half game ahead of the Phillies. Again, the Phillies facing the Padres tonight. So sorry for you guys listening to the podcast. If you guys are watching, it's not that big of a deal. But if you guys are listening to the podcast, we are watching the Mariners-Tigers game right now. And, yeah, Cal Raleigh was left on deck. That's horrible. Where was I? NL Central, the Cubs are a game above the Brewers. And then the Cardinals are 5.5 games behind that. Then Reds, the Pirates, 18.5 games behind there. The Dodgers, everybody was still so concerned about the Dodgers in their 7-game losing streak, but they're still 4.5 games ahead of the Padres. And then the Rockies, 34.5 games behind the Dodgers. They are 22-73, about to hit the All-Star break. Absolutely horrible. But, yeah, that is going to do it for the 107th episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast. Thank you guys for listening. You can listen wherever you listen to podcasts, including YouTube for all the visuals. Make sure to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And we will see you guys next week for episode 108.